In today's lesson, we are going to examine the types of pronouns. There are 8 types of pronouns. They include personal, possessive, demonstrative, interrogative, indefinite, relative, reflexive, and intensive. We will look at each of these pronouns, one at a time. Let's look at personal pronouns. Personal pronouns take the place of nouns. We use these personal pronouns all the time in our writing and speaking, so we need to understand how they are used in sentences. The personal pronouns are I, we, me, us, you, he, she, him, her, it, they, and them. Here is an example of a sentence using a personal pronoun. John is going to the store, but he forgot his wallet. The personal pronoun, he, take the place of John, in the sentence and makes the sentence flow naturally without repeating John, over and over again. So the speaker substitute the word, he for John. Let's look at possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns take the place of possessive nouns. Here are some of the possessive pronouns. Mine, yours, ours, its, his, hers, and theirs. Here is an example of a sentence using a possessive pronoun. That book on the table is mine. Possessive pronouns show ownership. That book on the table is mine shows us that the speaker owns the book. Please note that possessive pronouns do not need an apostrophe to indicate possession. Let's look at demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns take the place of things. Here are the demonstrative pronouns. This, that, these, those. Here is an example of a sentence using a demonstrative pronoun. That is my favorite color, said Rebecca. The word, that, replaces the favorite color that Rebecca referred to. That's what demonstrative pronouns do. They take the place of things. Let's look at interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns take the place of people or things and ask a question. Here are the interrogative pronouns. Who, whom, what, which and whose. Here is an example of a sentence using an interrogative pronoun. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The speaker is asking a question. That's what interrogative pronouns do. They ask questions. Let's look at indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns take the place of unspecified nouns. Here are some indefinite pronouns. Anyone, both, everybody, everything, something, someone, several and some. Here is an example of a sentence with an indefinite pronoun. Someone left their umbrella on the bus. We need to find the owner and return it. The indefinite pronoun here takes the place of an unknown person who left their umbrella on the bus. We don't know who it is. That's what indefinite pronouns do. They refer to an unspecified person or thing. Let's look at reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns refer or reflect back to the subject of the sentence. Here are some of the reflexive pronouns. Myself, ourselves, yourself, himself, herself, themselves, itself. Here is an example of a sentence using a reflexive pronoun. Rachel made herself a sandwich for lunch. Remember, a reflexive pronoun refers back to the subject of the sentence. In this sentence, herself refers back to Rachel. Rachel is the subject of the sentence. Reflexive pronouns can only be used after a noun or pronoun to which they refer. Let's look at relative pronouns. Relative pronouns introduce relative clauses. Here are some of the relative pronouns. That, who, whom, whose, which, whoever and whichever. These pronouns can function as other parts of speech, but when they introduce relative clauses, they function as relative pronouns. Here is an example of a sentence with a relative pronoun. The woman who was wearing a red hat caught my attention. Here the relative pronoun, who, introduces the relative clause, who was wearing a red hat. Let's talk more about relative clauses. Relative clauses begin with a relative pronoun in order to give more information about the noun. In this example sentence, we are given more information about the woman. This woman was wearing a red hat. It seems that this caught the attention of the speaker. So we use relative pronouns to introduce relative clauses in order to give listeners more information about the noun. Let's look at intensive pronouns. Intensive pronouns are used to add emphasis to the noun or pronoun they refer to. Here are some intensive pronouns: myself, herself, himself, themselves. Here is an example of a sentence with an intensive pronoun. I myself will be taking the test. The intensive pronoun here emphasizes the fact that the speaker will definitely be taking the test. Intensive pronouns are emphatic and drive home the point forcefully. In conclusion, pronouns are words that take the place of nouns in a sentence. We use them all the time in our writing and speech, so we need to understand how they are used in sentences. Also, the use of pronouns in sentences serves to make sentences more concise and clear and more expressive. Instead of repeating the same noun multiple times in a sentence, a pronoun can be used to refer back to the noun and to keep the sentence flowing smoothly. Pronouns also help to avoid confusion and to make the sentence less repetitive. There are 8 main types of pronouns: personal, possessive, demonstrative, interrogative, indefinite, relative, reflexive, and intensive. If this information has been helpful, please like this video and subscribe to this channel.